am privileged to introduce to you a master of unconditional love. She's a teacher, a life coach, and she's also a pioneer of one of the most innovative churches in the world. She's pastor of the House of Reconciliation. Satin Lounge, please help me welcome this beautiful spirit, Apostle Deatria L. Gates. Hello.
Hi, Kia. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Bless you, and thank you so much for coming.
No, I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you know what? There may be some people who think your very presence inside the Satin Lounge, the most seductive soundtrack in the atmosphere where we promote romantic love in the LGBT community, is a contradiction. Is it?
No, absolutely not. It's actually a confirmation of who God is and who Christ is. And I'm honored to be here. I'm excited about it.
Wow. Well, we're honored to have you.
Thank you.
I love the name, the House of Reconciliation. Where did that name come from? It sounds beautifully unique, and it reminds me of a mending of some sort. Where does that name come from?
You're absolutely right. When I had the vision to start this ministry, the Spirit, God, the Creator, He imparted or impressed upon my heart to name this movement the House of Reconciliation, because reconciliation means to reconcile or to bring back together. And the idea was to bring man's awareness back to his original connection with God. And it's like in accounting, you balance the books and you reconcile everything. And so essentially it's the same thing, where spiritually you're reconciled, or you'll realize that whatever balance that was owed had been paid, so therefore you owed nothing. And so now there can be just a simple coming together and becoming reacquainted with the God of your youth, the God of the universe. It's almost like picking up from where you left off and then continuing the relationship and allowing it to develop into whatever form it does.
Continuing the communion.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, I love that. I love that so much. You've been described as the people's pastor, and just listening to you talk right now, it makes so much sense. You've been pastoring for about 15 years.
We're actually going into our 14th year.
So what have you learned in that nice stretch of time about the temperament of people, or what have you learned about people, or even about yourself?
Well, interestingly enough, we just celebrated our 14th year, the 3rd of March. And I realized... Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I realized that it took that time for me to develop into the pastor, the people's pastor that God has called me to be. It took all that time for me to begin to understand relationships and to understand the heart of God and really get a clear idea in terms of the essence of who He is and how we relate to God. And it took me all that time to realize that, essentially I am God manifested in the flesh.
Wow.
So if I'm going to preach this message, I had to realize that truth first. And so I've had time, 14 years, to grasp that concept. And now I'm so excited to share with the people. I can't wait to go.
Wait a minute. So who is God to you? Define God.
God is spirit. He is energy. He is the first cause of everything. He is the essence of life itself. And I begin to realize that the reason why this physical body that I live in has the mobility that it does is because that God source, that energy dwells within me. And that the essence of who I am is God, not a byproduct of God, but God Himself manifested in the flesh.
So God can't really hate Himself. That's really touching my heart right now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A person can hate themselves if they don't realize that the essence of who they are is God. Once you realize that, then you can look at someone who does not clearly understand that concept and love them in spite of, because you understand they just don't know it yet. But then you can be excited, on the other hand, to know that when they come into that truth, oh my God, how exciting that's going to be.
Wow, then we come together as one.
As one, because like Jesus said, I and my Father are one.
Wow.
I had another revelation of that. I don't know if I ought to share it.
Please share it.
Jesus was the human side of God, if you will, or he was God in flesh form. And then you have God, the universal substance, the formless substance, the essence of life. And so you have the God, flesh, carnal man saying that I, carnal flesh, and the spirit are one, meaning that it's the same. Wow. It's no different. It's just a different form of that energy and that power.
Wow, Satin Lounge, I know this is a bit heavy. I know.
Don't go. Don't move.
Listen, can you describe to us your ministry? What is your ministry about? What do you define what it is you do?
My ministry is about awareness. It's about knowing the truth. There's a scripture that says you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. I'm about sharing the truth. I'm about taking the fundamental teachings and the basic traditional preaching that most of us have grown up with and kind of, if you will, breaking it down to where a person can really grasp the true meaning and the true essence of what's being said. It's all about life, love, and living, and expression of one's self, whatever that might be, and in whatever form that might be. So, but essentially, my ministry is designed to help people realize the truth about who they are as it relates to God, essentially, so that there can be a reconciliation or a coming together, a love connection, if you will.
It's all about love here in the Satin Lounge. I love the word love. I try to implement love in my life, and I constantly, preach the